Now back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we preview the 2016 Forest Wood Cup coming up that first weekend in August out of Wheeler Lake, based out of Huntsville, Alabama, which is also the same weekend that this show will celebrate 15 years on the air.
Awesome.
There you go. Two big events at the same time, and Ron Wong will be everywhere. We'll get a report.
And I'm going to call in, you'll get a report.
I'll get a report. That's
Absolutely.
early. Is from Ron likes these early shows, and that's why we have to drag him in here.
Well, I'm going to be up early during the Cup. I like to go cover the blast-offs, the launch every morning, and everything else. And
you do that. Yeah, I know it. And you know, he has his Outdoors with Larry Ray shirt. I noticed that you wore that shirt for 4 days at ICAST.
Well, because it was capturing the girls.
That's right.
They really liked it.
Oh, they really liked that.
Yeah,
so,
and as the days wore on,
you're cutting into this guy's time.
It was really, really starting to capture them.
I could tell. I could tell that. Yeah, I could tell that. Hey, let's before we jump into this.
You know, we got Joe Opager.
Yeah, we got
too.
Joe with us, and then we're going to have a special guest coming up again on this segment. I do want to congratulate you, Ron, 5th place in the ICAST Media Cup.
Thank you.
You beat out that little fellow from Eads, Tennessee. Somebody, Bill Dance, somebody like that. I can't remember.
Bill didn't have.
You had the lose team.
I was on the lose team with David Fritz, and
that name sounds familiar.
We had a great time.
What did you win?
Well, they only paid through 3 places.
That doesn't make difference for you. What'd you win? You have an ability.
A day on the lake with David Fritz and the lose.
You know, we had a good time. We had 5 fish that weighed 14 pounds 4 ounces. The winning stringer had 17.2. But it was great fun to be out on the water.
It's always great fun
with all these folks, and looking forward to it again. It'll be in Orlando next year, I think, July 15th through 17th, and so I'll be looking forward, and I'll be doing all the things that I did.
Well, start saving your money. All right, here
am.
All right, here we go, because we've rolled out here with Brad Knight, Mark Rose. Let's continue this with a young man that has had great success. I mean, when you look at this, that this is his 5 years on the FLW tour. Mm-hmm. He's got 3 tournaments, 11 top 10 finishes, and he's been on this show several times. And that's Jacob Wheeler out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Good morning, Jacob.
Morning, guys. How's everything going?
Hey,
well.
buddy, we're looking forward to hearing your preparations on this Saturday morning. I understand on the way back from ICAST you did kind of stop off at Wheeler and look out over the water and said, I'd like to catch some fish here. So
that's exactly right. That's exactly what went down.
Yeah.
Well, Jacob, Wheeler Lake, creature baits tend to do pretty well on that lake. And I would suspect your boat's going to be loaded up with some Gene LaRue punch-out craws, right?
That's guaranteed. You know, the thing is about Wheeler Lake, when going into this cup, it's August. The cups are always in August.
Yeah.
That's a tough time of year. If you're going to pick a time of year to fish, that is probably the toughest time of year to go catch a bass. Which for me, I seem to do fairly well in these Forest Wood Cups. I've always done fairly well. I think I've always been in the top 10 the last 4 years. And the reason for that, I feel, is what it is it's just so tough. During those times, mentally is draining. Physically, it's so hot outside.
Yeah.
And if you keep your head in it, you just got to get 5 bites a day, and if they're solid bites, you're going to be way up there at the top of the leaderboard. And I don't think Wheeler's going to be any different. I think it's going to be an absolute grind tournament. You're going to have to hope that you can get 2 or 3 good bites a day.
Yep.
I think you're going to see a lot of guys catching them flipping and pitching.
Yep.
I think you're going to see a lot of guys catching them offshore on little gravel bars and stuff like that. I think this guy who can mix it up each day is going to be the guy who's going to prevail.
Well, and it's going to fish totally different than what it did at Ouachita last year. Last year, you were sitting in about 70 feet of water throwing a topwater bait.
Yeah.
This year, it's going to be a little bit different, isn't it? I mean, you even have lily pads in Wheeler right now, and I know that there'll be people throwing something at lily pads.
Oh, guaranteed. This is the thing. I mean, I guarantee you that, them guys are going to get on that shallow water cover. There's always the fish. There's always some fish that never go deep, throughout the summertime. They stay shallow. There's always a group of fish. And not until this point in time in the year do I feel like that, those fish are really that important. A lot of times in June when there's a big group of fish, you can sit on big schools of bass, especially on the Tennessee River, and catch them every cast. You don't worry about those 3-pounders up there on the bank.
Right.
Catch here, one there. But now those fish are very relevant. Those are the fish that you need. The only thing is, something that a good friend of mine, Scott Martin, and I were talking about. We were talking about the Forestwood Cups and the history of the Forestwood Cup. He's won it back in Washita in 2011. I won it in 2012.
Right.
We're talking about how it always seems like the guy who wins always catches an over-average bag. And I won it here. I had a 22-pound bag the first day and was leading by 5 or 6 pounds.
Right.
When he went at Washita, he had 21 or something the first day. And that always helps you, 3 or 4 pound lead. Now you can go out there and catch a solid bag, and all of a sudden, you can sort of weather that storm to the wind.
So, I mean, that start is important, isn't it? That first day.
I think the start is definitely important, but I'm saying more in general is like you have to have a big day one of the 4 days. One of the
4 days. Now, Lake Lanier, you had a pretty good time. I mean, wire to wire, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
When you can do that and consistency, and that. How old were you when you won?
I was 21 years old when I won.
Yeah.
Wow. The youngest man ever to win
the Forestwood Cup.
The Cup, and you did it wire to wire.
Now, Jacob, the northern end of Wheeler Lake tends to set up with some of the deeper, clearer water. Does that play anything in for you in terms of your strategy?
Well, I spent 2.5 days of pre-practice on Wheeler Lake.
Mm-hmm.
There's, the way the Wheeler Lake sets up is you have the Elk River.
Right.
It's always been a huge player no matter where you go.
That's right.
That time of year, it's always a huge player. You got, right there around Decatur, and then you have, like Second Creek, First Creek area,
Right.
the dam area they can play. You have really and then you have up where we're actually launching at, up there towards Ditto Landing, up in the river itself.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 4 or 5 different key areas of the lake. They all fish fairly differently. You have
very different. Yeah.
Cedar Flat.
Yeah.
Where there used to be a lot of grass on there. Now there's not a lot of grass. It's actually filled with stumps on those flats. So that can be trying to find a little needle in a haystack, trying to find a bass out there in 4,000 stumps on that flat. But it could be done. So I mean, this is one thing that I think about this tournament. It's so hard. Normally at Washita, I had a pretty good feeling. We've been there before. I knew, okay, look, there's going to be some fish caught shallow. There's going to be some fish caught schooling fish. I knew sort of what to put my time in, what I felt like was going to win.
Yeah.
In this tournament right here, I don't know. Like, I don't really have that feeling of how it's going to be won.
Right.
It could be won doing a number of different things. And so that's where I'm like, man, so you got to keep an open mind and sort of see how the tournament rolls out. But you definitely have to catch it.
Well,
but that's set up great for fans. I mean, as a fan, that is really cool to not know going in. Well, it's going to be these guys who always fish ledges.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, this lake is so different. That's absolutely right. That's just like First and Second Creek. First Creek is clear, deep. Second Creek is shallow, flat, with lily pad stumps in it. It's so totally different, like you said, Jacob.
Yeah, every creek you have out there and every little place you go to is just a totally different lake. And that was the one thing. I didn't fish a whole lot when I was down there. I really just looked. And that's the big thing. I mean, when I go to a lake, this is something that, somebody out there, if you're trying to learn, this is what I do. I go to a lake and I try to visually see what's available on that lake. So I know where the flats are. I know where the lily pads are. I know where the vegetation is. I know where the docks are. I know where all of those things are. And I go on my Lawrence electronics and mark those things.
Well,
then after that, when I go to actual practice and I start catching them on docks next to the river channel, I know exactly where some more docks are very similar to that. So
Well,
it's all about being able to know how the lake lays out, where you can better be able to go catch more.
Well, it's a big lake too. I mean, from Gunnersville Dam to Wilson Dam, it's a big lake.
Well, that's why I said he goes and he looks. He's a look. He likes to look, and visualize these things. And some of our best golfers. I know I hate to bring this in, but visualize the course when they look at it, and they look at the hole, and then. And a lot of people just get up there and play or whatever it might be. And I think visualization that's one of the biggest words I've used here in the last month or so.
How many syllables is that?
It's really important. And then, Joe, I look at this, and you're listening on Jacob's conversation, and we got 50 guys coming to Wheeler, and I don't know what the average age is the competitor here, but I do have to say on this segment we got the young guy here. He's a young gun, so to speak. From Indianapolis, and he's ready to fish. He's won this tournament before.
And was leading last year.
I wasn't going to go into that. I was going to go in that we've also added, and I think our listeners need to know that Denny Breyer is fishing in this tournament.
That's right.
Jacob, how does that when you look at that and you look around and there's Denny Breyer, there's other people that you probably idolized. What does it mean to you when you go into a tournament like this?
It's sort of it was surreal with Denny, especially the first few years. Because, fishing 5 years now, I got that competitive edge now. I'm driven by competition, and so Denny, I've actually had the honor of sharing the boat with him one day, and
wow,
we were actually before I started fishing professionally. I fished with Denny, so it was really cool to have that opportunity to fish with him and see how he goes about things. And, these guys like Jimmy Houston and Denny and these guys consistently catch them, and you're like, man, Roland Martin, those guys that go out there, they're up there in age, but they consistently go out there. Their back hurts, their arms are, they're sitting there just, going through so much pain.
Yeah.
They can still go out there and just catch them like crazy. So, like Larry Nixon.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. He's one of my all-time favorites.
I knew we knew him when he was young. So that's it. But hey, we got to get out of here. Jacob, thank you, buddy. For your time, and
we will see you there at the Cup, Jacob, and we at Outdoors with Larry Ray wish you all the best. Tight lines to you in the tournament.
All right, buddy.
I appreciate it, guys. I really do. Thanks for having me on.
All right, we'll take a break. Joe, you hang on, and we'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790.
You can find out